Here's Jose Canseco, who looks like the Silver Surfer, sort of a comic book hero, huge, muscular.
Whoa! Wow. 2 strikes. You see him close up a little bit, not quite as big a swing. And that.
April 4th, 1988. 2 massive forearms collide in celebration, and the most dominant duo in baseball history is born. Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire, the Bash Brothers. They were baseball's perfect partnership, the flashy superstar and the quiet powerhouse.
155, and he's done.
The showman and the technician. Sound familiar? Roughly 12 years before Shaq and Kobe would walk all over the NBA, Canseco and McGwire created the blueprint for athletic greatness and athletic destruction. But unlike Shaq and Kobe, who won 3 championships together, the Bash Brothers' partnership was built on a lie that would eventually destroy them both. Tonight, we expose the truth behind baseball's original dynamic duo and how their toxic relationship changed not only the MLB, but sports forever.
Although I have nothing to hide, and although my answers to your questions will be helpful in resolving uncertainties, and
that has never been my style, and I do not intend to change this just because the cameras are turned on.
1986, the Oakland Athletics draft Mark McGwire, 10th overall, a quiet, fundamentally sound slugger from USC. Meanwhile, Jose Canseco is already making noise as the flashiest rookie in baseball. On paper, they were perfect opposites. Canseco, the Cuban-American showboat who craved attention. McGwire, the dentist's son who let his bat do the talking. Yin and yang, thunder and lightning. By 1988, they weren't just teammates, they were a brand. The Bash Brothers. Posters, commercials, magazine covers, baseball had never seen anything like it. But behind the forearm bashes and the home run celebrations, those who watched closely saw something else.
He's reached base safely. Oh boy.
Make it 3.
Can't even get it out. McGwire into the netting for his 3-homer game.
Canseco's need to be the star. McGwire's quiet resentment of playing second fiddle. They were Shaq and Kobe before Shaq and Kobe, 2 alphas forced to share the spotlight. And just like their basketball counterparts would learn, that spotlight wasn't big enough for both of them. The perfect partnership was already showing cracks. They just didn't know it yet. 1988, Jose Canseco becomes the first player in history to hit 42 home runs and steal 40 bases in a season. He wins the MVP award. Mark McGwire hits 32 homers and finishes nowhere in the voting. In the Oakland clubhouse bathroom, they shared more than just vitamins. They shared a secret that bonded them and a competition that would destroy them. The media loved Canseco's flash, his quotes, his controversy. McGwire was the other Bash brother, the quiet one, the fundamentally sound one, the boring one. But McGwire was keeping score, every headline that featured Canseco alone. Every interview where he was an afterthought. Every time someone called them Jose and Mark instead of Mark and Jose. By 1992, they weren't just competing against other teams. They were competing against each other. Home run totals, media attention. Who was the real star of the Bash Brothers? The partnership that had dominated baseball was eating itself alive, and everyone in Oakland could feel it. Something had to give. Someone had to go. Mark McGwire is traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Bash Brothers are officially dead. And for the first time in a decade, McGwire can breathe. The date is July 31st, 1997. Freed from Canseco's shadow, McGwire explodes. 58 home runs in his first season with St. Louis. Suddenly, he's not the other Bash brother. He's a superstar in his own right. Meanwhile, Canseco's body is betraying him. Injuries mount. Teams lose interest. The flashy superstar becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of steroid abuse. By 1998, the roles have completely reversed. McGwire is America's sweetheart, chasing Babe Ruth's ghost. Canseco is a punchline, bouncing between teams, desperate for relevance. When McGwire hits number 70, he's not just breaking records, he's proving that he was always the better player, the better person, the better Bash brother, period. And Jose Canseco, he's watching from his couch, unemployed, forgotten, and absolutely furious. The quiet kid had won, the showboat had lost. But Canseco still had one card left to play. And when he played it, it would destroy everything McGwire had built. 2005, Jose Canseco sits down to write a book. Not a memoir, a weapon. Juiced isn't just about exposing the steroid era, it's about destroying Mark McGwire. Canseco doesn't just admit to steroid use, he claims he personally injected McGwire. He describes their bathroom meetings in intimate detail. He calls his former brother ugly and talentless. But the cruelest cut isn't about steroids. Canseco claims that McGwire was always jealous of him, always resentful, always the lesser player who needed chemical enhancement to compete. March 17, 2005, Congressional Hearing Room. For the first time since the trade, Canseco and McGwire are in the same room. The Bash brothers were united as enemies. McGwire's testimony is a disaster. I'm not here to talk about the past. The Golden Boy reduced to evasion and embarrassment. Canseco watches with satisfaction as his former partner's reputation crumbles. In that moment, Jose Canseco achieves what he'd always wanted, to prove he was the better Bash brother, not through home runs or awards, but through destruction. The partnership that had dominated baseball was now completely destroyed, not by time, not by trades, but by betrayal, by weird shit. 2000 to 2002, while McGwire and Canseco's relationship was imploding, another dynamic duo was dominating sports, Shaq and Kobe, the big man and the guard, the veteran and the young star. The similarities were eerie. Shaq, like Canseco, was the established star who craved attention. Kobe, like McGwire, was the younger player who resented playing second fiddle. But when the Lakers broke up in 2004, something different happened. Mutual respect, acknowledgement of each other's greatness, eventually even friendship. The Bash brothers had the same talent, the same chemistry, the same potential for greatness, but they chose destruction over respect, betrayal over brotherhood. Imagine if Canseco and McGwire had handled their breakup like Shaq and Kobe. Imagine if they'd celebrated each other's success instead of sabotaging it. The difference wasn't talent or chemistry or even ego. The difference was character. And character, it turns out, matters more than championships. Shaq and Kobe learned what the Bash brothers never did. That true greatness isn't about being the only star. It's about making everyone around you better. Today, every great partnership in sports carries the ghost of the Bash brothers. Parker and Duncan learned from their mistakes. Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts avoided their pitfalls. The Bash brothers didn't just create a blueprint for athletic dominance. They created a blueprint for athletic destruction. A masterclass in how ego, resentment, and betrayal can destroy even the most perfect partnerships. They were the MLB Shaq and Kobe before Shaq and Kobe existed. But while Shaq and Kobe learned to respect each other's greatness, the Bash brothers chose to destroy it. The saddest part? They had everything: talent, chemistry, success, championships. All they needed was the wisdom to share the spotlight instead of fighting over it. Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire weren't just baseball players who used steroids. They were a cautionary tale about what happens when partnership becomes competition, when brotherhood becomes betrayal. Every great duo since has had to answer the same question. Will you be Shaq and Kobe, who found a way to respect each other's greatness, or will you be the Bash brothers who destroyed everything they built together? The forearm bash that created the Bash brothers lasted not even a second. The betrayal that destroyed them will last forever. Some partnerships create legends, others not so much. The Bash brothers created both. The truth about greatness isn't always what you expect.